Let's read this. Kal Kadosh, Boker Or, Masechet Menahot, Daf Yomi, Daf Pe Aleph Amud Aleph, 81a. So we were just trying to find out, again one more time, you have a Korban Todah and a Tmurah. If one of them got lost, you don't know which one's standing in front of you. Remember that the Korban Todah requires bread, the Tmurah does not require bread. So how do you do it now? What do you do? Right? You don't know what to do. So this is the fourth shita of what to do. Yativ Rabbi Yitzchak. Okay? So Yativ Rabbi Yitzchak, it's on the first line. Yativ Rabbi Yitzchak Bar Shmuel Bar Marta Kamed Rav Nachman. So it's sitting Rav Shmuel Bar Marta in front of Rav Nachman, right? And this is, by the way, when it said about the siman of the mnemonic, right, of the Marta. Yeah? So he comes and he says, right, like this, right? He comes and he says as Mirat or Marta. Okay? So he comes and he says this. He says, right, V'kaman, and he says this, V'laiti behema v'lechem, bring an extra animal in the breads, V'leima, and make another condition. Iach de kaima tmurahi, if the one in front of us is going to be the tmurah, so then this is the todah and this is the bread. And if the other one was behemet the todah, this is the bread, and this one is going to be the tmurah. Beforehand, we wanted to say that this is going to be a motar. How do you call this? A motar of todah. Now we're saying not a motar todah, a tmurah. And by this, we finished everything. That's it. Why? Because one of them might have been a tmurah, and the other one will be a tmurah, and the other one's going to be a real todah. So if the original one was really a tmurah, so it didn't need bread, so then this is a todah and this is bread. And if the original was a todah, this is the bread for that original one, and this is a tmurah, and then that's it, and then you don't have any problems. Answers the Gemara, Elmaleh, he comes and he tells him, Anemare, right? Answer me, my rabbi. Arba'im bekatfeh, right? He comes and he says, V'kasher, he says, a person that comes and does a tmurah, he gets lashes. So he says, Arba'im bekatfeh, 40 lashes on his shoulders. V'kasher, are you going to do that lechatchila? Meaning you're not allowed to make a tmurah. And if you do the tmurah, v'yahu tmurato yekodesh v'chule v'chule, right? But you're not allowed to make a tmurah. So if you're not allowed to make a tmurah, why in the world are you going to say it sounds so, such a big chidush? You're going to get lashes 40 times and you're still going to say it's kasher lechatchila to do so? The fifth thing, what do you want to do? Ravila chalash, he became sick. So ala gabe Abaye v'Rabbanan. So Abaye v'Rabbanan came in to visit him. V'yatvi v'kamen, and they were saying, imita le Rabbi Yochanan. If the words of Rabbi Yochanan are correct, the Amar that he says, michutz lechomat hazara kadosh, that outside of the chomat hazara it's still going to be kadosh. Laiti lechem, bring the bread. Velot ve'michutz lechomat hazara, leave it outside of the walls of the hazara. Ve'leima, and say, iach de kamaita todahi, if the one that was left over is a todah, this is the breads. V'lo, and if not, lepuk lechulin. It should go to chulin. Now here, what was the original question about this? You're not allowed to bring chulin la azara. Here, it's not the azara, it's outside. And according to Rabbi Yochanan, you are allowed to do that. You're allowed to make it holy. So therefore, by doing that, there's no problem. Answers the Gemara, mishum deika arba. You've got 4 chalot that you have to do tenufa. You remember that there's going to be 4 different chalot that you have to do with the Kohen is going to do the tenufa with the chazev ashok, right? So therefore, this is the 4 that I think they go to the Kohen, right? One of each one. So hechil naved, how do you do it then? Lanpiu abrai, if you're going to do the tenufa outside, it says lifnei Hashem. You have to do the tenufa in front of Hashem. Ktiv. Kavai, if you're going to do it inside, kamail chulin lazara. You're going to bring the chulin into the azara. Meaning, you answered me up on 36 out of the 40 loaves. But what do you do with the 4 loaves? 4 of those loaves, you have to do tenufa. That tenufa has to be lifnei Hashem. So you can't do it outside, but it has to be lifnei Hashem. And if you bring it inside, you just brought in chulin lazara, according to the shita. So therefore, it doesn't help. Hilkach lo efshar. So I can't use this one as well. So let's go to the 6th one. Matkif la Rav Shisha bered Ravidi. He says Rav Shisha bered Ravidi, imita le dechizkiya. Maybe the words of Chizkiya is nachon. The Amar that he says, Katshu arba'im mitoch shmonim. You remember this case? What happens if a person comes and he has 80 loaves? So do we say that 40 out of the 80 become holy? Or do we say nothing becomes holy? So there was a machloke between Chizkiya, right, and the other shita there. So Katshu arba'im mitoch shmonim. If you have 40 out of the 80, laitu behema, bring another animal. Velaiti shmonim bada. So do bring 80. Now what are you going to say? You're going to say, Iach de kaima todahi. If the first one was a todah, so this is also going to be a todah. Now the 80 loaves are between the 2 of them. So if the original one was a todah, this is a todah. So I brought 80 loaves, 40 and 40. Chazak u'baruch. Now if the original one is going to be the tmurah, so this is a todah and this is the bread. and only 40 out of the 80 are going to become holy. And then I don't have a problem. So answers the Gemara. So why can I do that? And if I do that, I don't have any problems whatsoever. Answers the Gemara, Mishum, because tekemamet ba'achila darbaim. Because on the other 40, I'm going to be ma'et ba'achila beforehand. I could do whatever I want with these 40 because they weren't holy at all. Now, if you're going to tell me that on this condition, I have to eat it within 1 day. So again, I'm being ma'et in the eating. So once I'm ma'et in the eating, we don't say this. So Amar le Ravashi le Rav Kahana, says the Ravashi to Rav Kahana, imita le Rabbi Yochanan. If you're going to tell me like this of Rabbi Yochanan Damar, that he says he frish lechatat meuberet vialda, that if you're going to separate an animal for a chatat meuberet and then it gives birth, ratzaba mitkaper, ratzaba v'lada mitkaper. If you wanted it, it's going to be mitkaper, and if not mitkaper. Laiti be'ema meuberet. Why don't you just bring a be'ema meuberet? V'yamtin la'ad sheteled, and you're going to wait until it gives birth. V'laiti shmonim ba'ada, and you're going to bring 80, right? 80 chalot. And you're going to say, so havlada todahi. So then it's going to be the vlad is also going to be a todah. And it's going to be 80 loaves between both of them. Now, if the first one was a todah, hanami todah, there's also a todah. And then the 80 of the both of them, so that's going to become a motar todah. So he tells him, who's the one that says that if you leave over, right, the ubar, right, in order to be magdish, it's like a korban, that it's going to be like a korban. Maybe it's not going to be considered mishuyar. That's the reason Rabbi Yochanan, De'amar Adam mitkaper b'shevach hekdesh. You remember we brought down, it was a machloket, can a person have a kapara from the appreciation of hekdesh? The appreciation is the child. The child is the appreciation of hekdesh. Can you be mitkaper with the child or not? There was a machloket between Rabbi Yochanan and the other shita, so therefore that's what we're saying. Ravina ikla de Muriya. So Ravina comes and he visited a place called the Muraya, right? Amale Ravdimi bida de Ravhuna min Marula Ravina. So he comes and he says, "Velaiti be'ema, why don't you bring an animal? V'leiman say hare alai, that it's going to be a todah. Velaiti be'ema achalite, then bring another animal. Velaiti shmonim ba'adan, you're going to bring 80 of them. V'leiman, you're going to say hakte kaima tmurahi. This is a tmura. Hani tarte, these ones are going to be todot. V'shmonim tetrvayo, and then you're going to have the 80 between both of them. V'hakte kaima todahi. Now, if this is going to be a todah, v'hada amri alai nami leve todah. V'hashmonim tetrvayo, and then you have the 80. V'idach tahave, and the other one is going to be achrayut. So Amaleh comes and he says, "Hatodah amra tova shelo tidom shetidov velo teshalem." Ve'at amarta lekum v'lindu betchila. The Torah says it's better that you shouldn't make a neder than to make a neder and to pay it. Meaning, we don't like nedarim, we don't like nedav, we don't like these things. So therefore, why are you going to milichatchila come and make the neder? Tov lotidor. It's better not to make a neder than to make a neder and not to pay. So now you're going to tell me to make a neder lechatchila, because here that's what you're doing. You're making a neder lechatchila, right, to bring a todah. We don't like that. So if so, it comes out that the todah that gets mixed up with the tmura and then it dies, one of them dies, there's no bemet takana to bring another one. Right? Just like Rabbi Chia says, there's no takana. Why? Because what are you going to do? There's nothing what to do. Fine. Mishnah on the bottom of the page, last line. Haomer are alai todah. If somebody comes, right, and says that I have to bring a todah, yavi hiv lachma min chulin. So you have to bring the todah and the bread from the chulin, not from Masechet sheni. You have to bring it. Why? Because you said harei alai, it's on you. Pe'alef amubet 81b. Todah alai min chulin. So he says, even if he comes and he says, I'm going to bring the todah alai, right, and from the chulin, and the lachma min maaser. No, you have to bring he vilachma min chulin. That means even though he said mefurash, I want to bring the breads from the maaser, it doesn't help, because since the todah is the ikar, and the ikar I have to bring from the chulin, so to the breads, which is the tafel, I have to bring from the chulin. Okay, next. Yeah, next he comes and he says like this. He says, yeah, todah mina maaser v'lachma mina chulin. What happens if a person comes and he says, I'm going to bring a korban todah from the maaser and the breads from the chulin? You could bring everything from the maaser. Because again, the subordinate is tafel to the ikar. The ikar is the todah, the breads is a. So that means even though I said I'm going to bring the breads from the chulin, you could bring it from the maaser. Yeah, right? So he says, yavi velo yavi michite maaser sheni ela mimamot maaser sheni. So he comes down and he says like this. He says, right? What happens if he says hiv lachma mina maaser? Right? I didn't say todah mina maaser v'lachma mina chulin. Right? So he comes and he says yavi. Sorry. If he says todah mina maaser v'lachma mina chulin, you have to do exactly like which is written. Because you said a mefurash in the neder. He says, מאחר שפירש ונדרוש התודה מוטלת עליו על מנת שיוכל להביא ממעשר שני, לכתחילה לא קיבל עצמו את התודה כדבר שבחובה. So you could actually use the money of מעשר שני. However, though the lechem, right, you could bring from the chulim, because that's what you said. The hivelachma mina maaser, if you said everything is coming from maaser, right, you have to bring exactly like what you said, but you're not going to bring from the chite maaser sheni, but rather ma'ot maaser sheni, only from the money, not from the actual chitim. So let's see the Gemara. That we're going to analyze this Mishnah. Amar Ravuna. Ravuna says, Haomer hare alai lachme todah. If a person is going to come and he's going to say, right, he's going to come and he's going to say, hare alai, right, he comes and he says like this. He says, hare alai lachme todah. So mevi todah v'lachma. You're going to bring the todah and the lachma and the lechem. My tama, what's reasoning? The person knows that you can't bring a todah without breads. So it means obviously both of them. So why did it say lachme todah? Sof min tanakat. He brought on the end of it, which is basically arei alai todah v'lachma. Tnan, we learned also, says the Gemara, todah, right? If you say that you're going to bring the todah from the maaser and the lechem from the chulin, you have to do exactly like what you said. Now says the Gemara, why? Once you said lachma min chulin, so you should bring everything from the chulin then. Yavihi v'lachma min chulin. So he says, no, shaneatam, it's different over there. The kevin damar todah min maaser. Once you said todah min maaser, it's ki'ilu you said arei alai lechem liftor todato shel ploni. It's ki'ilu you're bringing upon yourself lechem to be poter the chuvah of somebody else. Ihachi if so, reisha diktani in the reisha when you said, right, todah min chulin v'lachma min maaser, you're going to bring the todah from the chulin and the bread from the maaser. You're going to bring everything from the chulin then. Hachanami sotuya nasa kemomer arei todah liftor lachmo shel ploni. You're bringing the todah to be poter the lechem of ploni. So says the Gemara, Hach, can you do that? I understand the lechem lemiftar todati, but the todah lemiftar lechem? Meaning, I could say that the lechem can never be poter, the todah. The todah could be poter the lechem, yes, but not the lechem to the todah. What's the ikar? So Tashema, we're going to try to bring another proof then. If you say I'm going to bring on myself a todah without the breads, zevach below nesachim, it's ki'ilu you're saying that I'm bringing a korban without the wine libations. Kofino tomevi, you have to bring both the todah v'lachma, the zevach nesachim. Tama, what's the reasoning? The amar, because you said todah, but if you didn't say todah, you're not obligated. So answers the Gemara, the same halacha would apply even if you didn't say the todah. That now that you just said zevach without the nesachim, telomatnile nesachim lo zevach tananami. So too we learned the todah. So says the Gemara, "Amai why? Neder upitcho imohu. It's a neder, and you have the petach to get rid of the neder. Whenever you want to get rid of a neder, you have to have charata. Charata is the petach, the entrance, in order to get out of the neder. So they come and they say, if you would have known, and then you get out of the neder with this petach. So Amar Chizkiah comes and he says, Hamani, who is this? Bet Shammai, it's Bet Shammai. The Amri Tefos Lashon Rishon. According to Shdat Bet Shammai, you always grab the first Lashon that you said. The Tanam was we learned in the Mishnah. Hareni Nazir mina grogerot. If you come and you say, I'm going to become a Nazir from the grogerot, from the dried figs, umina dvela, and from the dvela, which is it's like a fig, fig, it's like a fig cake. It's like a fig. It's like a cake, right? They're all stuck together, right? Bet Shammai comes and he says Nazir. Bet Hillel comes and he says Eno Nazir. It's not going to be a Nazir. So Rabbi Yochanan says Afilu tema Bet Hillel. Even if you're going to tell me that it's going to be Bet Hillel, right? Because basically he was saying that you know the question is, do you take the first lashon that you said? When you have two contradictory statements, do you take the first thing that you said or the second thing? So Rabbi Yochanan says, even if you're going to tell me it's a Bet Hillel, right? Beomer ilu yodea she'en odrin kach lo iti noder kach ela kach. That means if I would have known that you don't make a neder like this, you make a neder like that, I would have done that. To my kofin. So what does it mean then? We're going to force him. The kabai hadabai, that he has to retract from his neder. So Tashema, we're going to try to bring another proof then. One of the person says, I'm going to bring a todah, but on condition without any breads, or a korban without any wine libations. V'amrulo, they told him, you have to bring the todah and the bread. You have to bring the zevach and the nesachim. V'omer, and now he says, if I would have known, I wouldn't have made an eder. Kofinoto, we force him to bring it, and we tell him, shemor v'shamata, you have to keep your words. Bishma lechizkiah, I understand according to Chizkiah nichale, it's going to be good. Why? Because as we already mentioned, right, it's going l'shitat Bet Shammai, that we go after Tfos Lashon Rishon. But according to Rabbi Yochanan, Tashi, you have a question. Yeah? What are you going to say here? So Rabbi Yochanan says, this is Bet Shammai, you're right. So what does it mean, Shemor v'Shamata? You have to listen to these words. Amar Abaye, shemor means have todah. You have to bring the todah. The shamata means you have to listen. Listen means you're going to bring the bread. That means even though you didn't want to bring the bread. Rava says shemor means you have to bring the bread and the lachma. Shamata says don't do it again. Shamata means listen, don't do this again. Okay? 2 dots. Fine. He lachma min maaser. If a person comes and he says that he's going to bring the todah and the lechem from the maaser, you have to bring exactly like he said. Yavi, lo sag, what do you mean yavi? Obviously you have to bring it. What? Lo sag de lo maiti. Well, you have to bring it. Rav Nachman Rav Chasta amre ratza mevi, lo ratza, lo yavi. Only if you want, you can bring it from maaser sheni. If you don't want, bring it from chulin. And then there's no problem. You could always bring it from chulin, right? Velo yavi michite maaser sheni, but don't bring from chite maaser sheni, but rather from maot maaser sheni. So he says Rav Nachman Rav Chasta Adam Tavayut. So Rav Nachman Rav Chasta, both of them say lo shanu ala michite maaser sheni. We're talking about from the chitim of the maaser sheni. Aval mechitina lekuchot mimaot maaser sheni yavi. You're going to bring it. So Yativ Rav Yirmiyah kamed Rabbi Zera, says Rav Yirmiyah in front of Rabbi Zera. V'Yativ v'kamar, and he comes and he says lo shanu ala michite maaser sheni. We're talking about from the chitim of maaser sheni. But chitim which are bought with the money of maaser sheni, you could bring. Elmaleh, he says, Rabbi, do you actually say this? Ani Omer, I'm going to say, afilu from the chitin which is bought from maaser sheni, you can't bring it. So what's the reasoning then? What's the svarot? Tell me the reasonings. So he says, your reasoning is because it's todah. And where do you learn it from? From the shlamim. Right? It says, uvesar zevach todat shelamav. So therefore, since the shlamim could be bought with maaser sheni, so to the todah could be bought with maaser sheni. Pei bet amud aleph on the top. We're almost finished. Ushlamim sham sham maaser. We're learning the shlamim from a gezerah shava from maaser sheni. Sham sham umina. So therefore, I'm going to say just like the shlamim in gufa maaser. So to the todah is not gufa maaser. Ve'ani chite. Now these chitim were bought with maaser sheni. So too in gufan maaser sheni. So therefore, there's not going to be maaser sheni, and then we'll continue B'ezrat Hashem tomorrow.